Good morning, everyone. It is Velva Dawn, and I am here with, I think, our 5th edition of the hashtag Wisdom Weaver Wednesday. So I want to start by just saying happy St. Paddy's Day to all of you, Irish or non-Irish. Make sure you have your little bit of green on. I have this bracelet that my dad actually got me in Ireland, and a necklace that I got in the Dingle Peninsula when I took the group. So enjoy today. Enjoy, that Irish part. The Irish are always known as being, they have a sense of humor. And I remember when we took a group to Ireland, it was one of the best, I think, group trips that we ever had, because it was so empowering. The bus driver we had a sense of humor. He was stopping and he would put like a coin over a bridge, because they have that belief in Ireland that there is trolls, that, live along the bridge. And he was just saying that he had to pay his toll fees. So I am excited about today. I'm going to be bringing on someone, Dwayne Klassen is his name. And he and I spoke together at an event quite a few years ago, and he focuses on the masculine and I focus on the feminine. And so I thought it would be a really good thing to bring both of us on here and to hear his opinion. And I'm just gonna bring him on here. It's always a challenge to bring people on this Facebook Live, but we're all getting the hang of it. So the weather is warming up. It's beautiful outside. I'm excited to be connecting with, let's see here. I'm just going to your viewers. Okay, just a sec here, everybody. Just hang on as I bring. Okay, so I sent Dwayne an invite. So I just have to wait and see who is showing up here. Choose your live mode. It is one of those days here. Okay. Okay, I may have to stop and start this again as I try and bring forward. Okay, here he is. Here's Dwayne. So we have success. Okay, so just bear with me as we bring him on. It's taking a little bit here. So while we're bringing him on, I want to know, what is everybody's plans today? What are you doing for St. Patrick's Day? Do you have, an annual tradition that you do? There you are. Good morning.
There we are. Took some doing, but we got it.
We did. I want to know, what is everybody's plans? Okay. What are you doing for St. Patrick's Day?
There we go. How's the audio? We're good?
The audio is good. It's good. So good morning, Dwayne. I just want to thank you.
Good morning.
I want to thank you for joining me here on the hashtag Wisdom Weaver Wednesday.
I'm grateful for being here. Thank you for the opportunity.
You are welcome. It's been my pleasure. We've been talking about doing something together for quite some time. So I'm glad that this worked out and that you're willing to have some real and raw conversation.
Yes. Those are the best conversations, aren't they?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So why don't you tell everybody a little bit about yourself before we get started?
Sure. For those of you that don't know who I am, I'm Dwayne Klassen. I'm also known as the coach for men. For the last 11 years, I've been going down a fairly deep rabbit hole in the world of men's work, relationship dynamics, and just seeing what was happening in my world, those many years ago. And I really started to see that there was what I call the malaise of men. And what that meant to me was that there seemed to be this level of apathy and this disconnect to their masculine energy. And a lot of men were feeling more confused, more frustrated, more challenged as to what it meant to be a man in today's world than ever before. And I certainly was that guy. And so as I was going through my transition, I was truly looking for a transformation. And I realized that, okay, I'm going to have to pick up the torch. And I resisted. I really did. I did not want to go down this road because I didn't think I was that guy. I didn't think I was ready for it. And then I started writing my book, The Remarkable Man. And it's been out now since 2012. But when I was doing that research, Velva, I realized that, wow, there's something really incredible going on here. And I wanted to be a change agent. I wanted to be a catalyst for that change. And so I created an organization called the Remarkable Man Project. And while we were doing that in Western Canada, my coaching became more and more in demand because a lot of men were realizing that I just don't have the tools. I just don't have what it takes. And we are in the age of the empowered woman. And the challenge right now is that she should never have to dumb it down or play small to be with us. And there's so much in the way of resources and support networks for women, but there's very little for men. And so a lot of men are floundering. They don't know how to keep up with today's empowered woman. And so they just hit a wall. So I realized that something needed to happen, and it's been my direction. It's been my purpose and passion, and it is who I am. This is we're just getting started. And in fact, the challenge is getting more challenging. And so I'm very grateful for this calling and where it's taken me.
You know, and I always smile because, you know, your book came out around the same time as my book. You're writing about, you know, the men, I'm writing about the women. And, you know, we're both in the dating game, as you know, right? And so I'm just finishing up my book called Unwinding the Divine Masculine about my experiences. So that's what I want to talk to you about is, you know, I want to see from your lens, like, how has this been as a man dating empowered women? So what is one word, or not one word, what is something that you would like to share with other men who have dated, you know, an empowered woman? What is a tool, or what is, I guess, a secret that you know that has helped you be able to connect with an empowered woman?
It's two words.
Okay.
Be first. And what I mean by that is so many empowered women today have to do all the decision making. And men have been hardwired to, through our pop culture, that it's happy wife, happy life.
Yeah.
And a lot of this pop culture is erroneous about what it means to be in a relationship. And we see it in the movies, we see it in sitcoms, and it is not the formula for success. And a lot of men think that, yes, dear, whatever you like, dear. No, you pick the movie, dear. No, whatever restaurant you want to go to, it's fine. We're good. And he's under the impression that by giving her the power to choose will make her happy. And everything's good. Hey, it's up to you. I'm not picking, 2-for-1 burgers at Arby's or whatever. It's your call. It's good. It's not. Gentlemen, you've got to be first. Anticipate and be decisive. Just start taking some of the pressure off of her and make some decisions. Of course, you're not going to take her to Arby's or Burger King. You're going to take her to something where she likes to go. But have strong values and boundaries, brothers, and just be and anticipate what it is that she needs, what it is she's looking for, and make a decision. Honey, 7 o'clock, little black dress, we're going out.
Mm-hmm.
And there's going to be some times where there's going to be pushback, especially if that's not who you are. Mm-hmm. If you all of a sudden tried on this, hey, I heard Dwayne say, hey, this, and this, she's going to go, where's this coming from? It's very perceptive. And so you've got to be able to know that she is going to, what I call the shit test, because it has to be authentic. You have to own it, not from a place of pacification. You just have to own it. And if she says, honey, we can't afford it. We can't go, no way. We got the kids, the place is a mess. No, we can't afford it. And most guys will go, yeah, maybe you're right. Why don't we just order some pizza and we'll watch some Netflix? Yes, that makes more sense. But do you think she wanted to go out and put that little black dress on? Hell yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just a simple, honey, I get it. I know. Hey, I cleaned up the garage. It's good. Grandma's coming over. She'll be here in about 45 minutes. Got it all taken care of. Get upstairs. Get going. Come on. Time's a ticking away. Let's go. Mm-hmm. That's the test. Just stand in it. This is what she wants her champion to show up and do what is necessary to help her drop into her feminine energy. Mm-hmm. And that, brother, is your place. And I wish guys would get that. Be first, anticipate.
You nailed it. In my book, when I was writing the chapters, the moments that were like that, as a woman, we do like to get dressed up. We do like to feel sexy. We do like to be told the surprise element, right? It's like, yeah, go get your heels on, go get your dress on, meet me at the door. Who wouldn't like that, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And sadly, so many relationships are going in two different directions simply because they just don't know. And that's the challenge. And most men just don't know. And they're gleaning all of their insight off of the television and our pop culture.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, hopefully they're all listening out there.
Let's hope.
I know. That's really good advice. Okay. Thank you for that. Now this is a good question. Okay. I've been wanting to know this. Okay. Do you prefer to go Dutch or have your date pay on the first date?
I don't recall any time in my entire dating relationship world where I've gone Dutch. If it's a business meeting, if it's where you're just talking business, yeah, I get that. But if the intention is well laid out that this is a date, then that's on me. Mm-hmm. That's on me, and that's just a piece of chivalry that should be in every man's DNA.
Yes, I totally agree with you on that. But as a woman, an empowered woman, I always pull out my wallet and offer to pay. And I know sometimes,
right. And a man should go, no, put that away. We're good. No, I got this. Or he's already taken care of, even though, and he's respecting the fact that you're an empowered woman. But hey, this is every man should be able, again, to be able to usurp the energy that this is a date, and I got this.
So I'm with you. Like I'm an old-fashioned girl in that sense too, where, I was married for 21 years. So for me, it was all new, right? How does this work? And I thought, you know what? I'm still that girl. I still want the man to open the door, to open the car door, to offer to pay. to
Sure.
bring me flowers, right? All of that. I'm still
Yep.
that. And I think there's a misconception sometimes that an empowered woman, you know, doesn't want that.
Well, I think there's that piece where there's reciprocity. So it's like, okay, that's great, but the next one's on me. I
Mm.
got it. And men love hearing that. Men love to hear that because then they know that it's like, wow, I really like this. They'll lean in some more because a lot of men don't ever hear that. It's like, okay, they just keep on keeping on. But that first date, that should be, and even if it's simple coffee, and so I got this, or she might have already got it and just be accepting of it. That's great. I always appreciate that if that's happening. But if that was just like a meeting, you know, a first date, just kind of seeing if there's grounds for a second one, then that second one, that's on me.
Mm-hmm. 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 So Travis is saying, thanks. He says, thanks, Dwayne. Okay, I'm just looking here. He's
Hey,
saying, thank,
Travis.
yeah, thanks, Dwayne. Nothing but gratitude for you, brother. And then he says, and thanks for talking about this, Velva. I can totally appreciate it. Well, and you know, if you guys have questions that you want us to answer, you know, by all means, just bring it up in the
Yep.
feed. Okay.
I noticed my boy
So
Alan's on as well.
yeah,
Awesome.
he is. I know, and I have some of my female friends on here, so we've got a good mixture going. Okay, so the other thing that I want to talk about, and this is pretty raw. Okay, this is going there, but I want to do it because I feel like we're just being real. So, how many dates do you need to have before you decide to become sexually intimate? Is it a certain number? Is it a connection? What is it for you as a man?
It is really about connection. I'll be frank with you. I've had the sex on the first date,
Mm-hmm.
but it's typically the result of some pretty intense, flirtatious, you know, a week of texting, building up the energy, right? And you just have that connection.
Mm-hmm.
I've had a wonderful relationship that lasted 3 years, and that was
Mm-hmm.
we had sex on the first date, but it was also anticipated, right? We really had this raw level of attraction. I have done the 3 date, 4 date, you know, intimacy, just getting connected, and that worked out really well as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't really have a must have, or if you do this, you're not a gentleman, or if you do this, you're not a lady. You know, it's connection, and you know it right when the time that you connect, whether that's going to happen or not.
Mm-hmm. And that was one of my other questions. I know instantly, whether it's I open the door or they get out of the truck, or I know instantly if I'm going to have a second date. I know instantly if
Right.
there's any chemistry there, it's instant. Sometimes it's like, oh, this is going to be the longest hour of my life. Let's just sit and talk through this. And then the next
Been
time it's like,
there. Yep.
you're sitting there and 4 or 5 hours, has gone by, and you're into this person. So, and I've been there. I've waited for, a month before, which ended up in a 3-year relationship, to, like you're saying, it can be less than that. The code for women that I've heard through my friends is that, it's usually the third date, right? Is what kind of the number is. And I thought, I'm kind of like you, is I don't follow a template. I follow how I feel. I follow the flow of the energy that's being created.
Right. And if we put too many taboos attached to it, then, what are we trying to do? Or what virtue are we trying to rise to? If it works, it works. And we're also adults too. And if it doesn't work out, then in any situation that I've been with, it's never been any animosity or you're a jerk or you never called me again. It never has been that way. And I was even surprised at how cavalier some of my dates were. You know, that's exactly what they wanted, and okay. There really should be no judgment around it. And I get that there are cultural and religious protocols and judgments that go around with that. But again, it is based on everyone's perception of what intimacy and connection is, and what they're looking for.
So do you have, have you made a list of qualities that you must have and that you don't want? Have you done that yourself personally?
Yes, I have. I have. And I think it's important to have your values and boundaries as to what you want in a partner, and get very specific, get granular on it as to not only these are the qualities I want, but why? Why does it matter? You know, what's really the reason behind that? And yeah, we can have the physical, that's wonderful, but what are the other pieces? And really dig into that, because at the end of the day, you matter, and the person that comes into your life has to match that, and you shouldn't feel guilty for having standards.
Yes, not at all. Like, I totally agree with you. It's like, I think you learn, one woman had said to me a while ago, I'm really confident. And I thought, the biggest thing I've learned is that I'm way more confident now than when I was in my marriage, because it's like, you have to know what you want and you're choosing, right? It's kind of like a business interview where you're interviewing the person. I know I'm looking for red flags as they're talking. I'm looking if there's a physical connection. So for you, from a man's perspective, what are some red flags that you have when you're on a date even?
Well, the red flags tend to surface in the way that they are when they're communicated. I found years ago that people will tell you who they are, right? That it's sometimes it's in code, it's in a joke. It is just, you know, or they'll say something off color about their last relationship, you know, and they're laughing about it, haha, you know, as a deflection, but they're really telling you exactly who they are. And so there's some subtleties underneath some of the conversation, and if you pay attention, you will see some of them. And yeah, I mean, I'm very open-minded. If there's things that I look for in a conversation, I will seed a conversation to find out certain things, and I'm sure they're doing the same thing for me as well. And so you've just got to really tap in. Don't be blinded by the beauty and the if there's sexual attraction. That can really, for a lot of men, and it's done it to me too. I've been blinded by the sexual energy, and then you find out they're batshit crazy, and now you've been intimate with this individual, and now the red flags are all coming out, and it's like, oh my God, how do I get off this e-ticket ride? It's just, and yeah, so hopefully, or I'm grateful that you know, it didn't turn out to be, you know, a psychotic or anything like that. But I know a lot of people that have gone down that road, and they're even to this day, years later, they're still dealing with the consequences of not paying attention to the red flags.
That, I love that you said that about men, that you can, you know, sort of get into that moment where you're just in that sexual bliss, and you lose the groundedness of, you know, the truth of what this could be. So then I ask you, have you ghosted have you been in a situation like that where you're like, now how do I get out? Or do you just speak the truth? How do you deal with that?
Well, they've given me, it's not something that happens all the time. It's been years, but they did something typically that was so erroneous, so egregious that there would be no reason for me to ghost them. It would just be, this is absolutely wrong. They knew they were wrong, and I could no longer be with you, or this is just unacceptable. This goes against my values and boundaries. I wish you well. Please do not talk to me anymore. And that was it. I haven't had to like just fade away, into the ether. And if that happened, it was typically mutual. It's just like meh, it just kind of fades away.
Right. So in regards to that, like what I have found, and I want to hear your perception, is in a lot of the relationships, even in the chapters in the book that I wrote about with these men, either, some of them weren't ready to commit, right? Or, some of them were a lot younger than I was, and there just wasn't that fit. But I'm still good friends with almost every single man that I dated. We're very good friends, and that's all it is friendship.
Sure.
Do you find that you end up being friends after you've dated someone?
That has happened, yeah. I know, I can think of two lovely ladies that it just wasn't it wasn't a love connection. And for whatever reason, life happened, but we still are respectful of each other. We support one another, and we celebrate the wins, and I'm there if they need to talk and go deep on certain subjects. But yeah, I'm honored, or I'm pleased that I don't have any energy that is behind me that isn't in keeping with who I am.
I agree. That's, and I think when you live your life authentically, that just, ripples out into your intimate relationships. I agree. I'm the same way, Dwayne. So I completely agree. Okay. So what is your definition of romance?
Wow. That's a broad brushstroke. Romance, I think if we got away from the idea that romance is this connection of I love you, therefore you're going to love me, or that we're needing someone to complete ourselves. I think a lot of romance is a trap, and it's not authentic in a lot of ways, because and a lot of relationships are built on a need. And so I call it romantic love versus unconditional love, right? And when we go into with romantic love, or that romantic need, then we have a hidden agenda.
Yes.
Most of romance has a hidden agenda to it. And so these flowers mean I'm going to have great sex soon. Yay! Or I'm going to do this, this, and this, and this, but I have an agenda. Case in point, I had a client of mine, and his beloved of 4 years was getting these hand-me-downs from her sister. And her sister is really great at style. And so it wasn't like these are from a secondhand or a used clothing store, consignment store. No, they're nice clothes. But he thought that maybe her wardrobe was not where she wanted it to be. That's why she took in these clothes. So he took it upon himself to go and hire a personal shopper. And he had her instructions were to go to 4 high-end stores and buy this, this, and this, and this, and this. And this is what she looks like. This is her build, her shape. And she did. So he's a busy guy. So now she's got these 4 bags sitting on her bed. And he's expecting her to go, oh my God, oh, this is great. But she didn't, because she could smell the hidden agenda. And there was something else there. And he did not anticipate her reaction, to the point where she did not want to undress in front of him to model the new clothes. And a big story came up, and all of a sudden there was this big argument, and he got all up in his stuff about how she doesn't, love him, because he equates that, because he was doing this big romantic gesture, and it was a big blow up. And so I told him, I said, brother, you went into it with a hidden agenda. You wanted her to go, wow, you're my king, you're my hero, you're my everything. But if you just went into it with just, hey, whatever happens, happens. This is good. And that's hard to do. That really is. But if it's love, if it's unconditional love, it doesn't need to be a romantic gesture. It just means how you lean into the conversation, how you lean into being present with her. I'm taking it from the guy's perspective. That romance can be fun, absolutely, and it should be. And I've made it rain on romantic dates, and yeah, it didn't pay off. It didn't, and I was left going, damn, there's money I could have spent elsewhere. But I was doing it to look like I could make it rain. I was doing it to validate a part of myself. And that's not where it needs to come from. So I know there's some big spenders out there that love to do all sorts of things, but on the back end of it, really check in with how it really feels at the end of it. Did she respond the way you anticipated? Did you find out what is her love language, or what is the, her needs, her wants when it comes to romance? And most guys, including myself, there are times I didn't do that. But I'm big into romance. I really am. I love that whole dance, if you will. But as long as we're on the same playing field, then that gift will be received in the very energy that it was given. I heard once that a rose is only as sweet as the hand that gives it.
That's good. That's really good. I really appreciate you sharing all that, because most recently I went through an experience where I look back now and I call it the hashtag love bomb, where you're smothered with all of these gifts, expensive gifts, right? And it was really early on. And so my guard went up, and I was like, what's underneath this? It's like you're saying, I could see there was something underneath this, and I could feel it because I'm intuitive. So it was like compounded for me. And then I'm like doing research on love bombing and, word salad and what are all these things, right? And bringing it all to the surface. And it was accurate in the end. The intention behind it was not, it wasn't unconditional love. It was exactly for what you're saying. There was a hidden agenda, which, I found out very soon. When you're dating multiple women at one time, eventually they're going to find out probably not good advice to give anyone, right? Yeah.
So what you mentioned word salad. What is that?
So word salad is, sort of where they spin you round and round. It's in there with gaslighting, saying the words. So, you don't really believe what you're trying to feel. So it's like they spin you round and round with all these words that they think is going to deflect the situation.
Got it. No
Yeah.
kidding.
Yes. So, okay. Now,
Hey, Dale.
yeah,
Dale
she's
just
on
popped
here.
up.
Yeah. Yeah, she's a good woman. Okay. So, what is one of your favorite dates out of all the dates you've been on? What is one of the favorite dates that you most enjoy?
Huh. Uh, well, it would be an amazing dinner date. This is going back several years, and it was a great dinner date. And she just rocked her style, and she was probably the most beautiful woman in the restaurant.
Mm.
And yeah, because of our connection, we end up getting the best table. This is in Vancouver. We had the best table right on the water, and this place is packed. And this is not me going, here, buddy, here's $50, get us the best table. Or it wasn't, oh, Mr. Klassen, welcome, come on, your table is waiting. No, I didn't have that cachet. But it was just because of her essence and how I had my confidence. The maitre d' just went, all right, this way. And we ended up getting we couldn't believe this table was available. And it was just magic. It was just a really magical evening. It just flowed. This wasn't our first date. This was, and it was great. I'm not going to go into all the details, but it was great. There was one where I proposed to my fiance at the time, but when you talk about the romance and the agenda, I overloaded. I went, no, I just made it rain. And so I'm not going to bring that into the equation because it was a great first date, the optics, and for me, it looked fantastic. And it was great for her, but it just wasn't real. It just really wasn't real. And so anyway, this date was simple. It was wonderful. It was the weather couldn't have been better. The view, everything, and quite frankly, the view didn't matter. Looking at her it just took my breath away. And she's the one that I was with for 3 years. And so, yeah, it was an awesome first date. And I've had many dates, but I've many incredible experiences that were simple, didn't require much, but I really believe it's the company. I really do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So I believe that too. And I believe it's that connection, and almost instantly what that is. So the other thing I want to ask you, I want to hear from your perspective. What are you looking for in a relationship as a man? What are you looking for in qualities as a woman?
Well, I believe that she has to be on her path. I think that it's important that she has at this stage, because I'm over 50 now, that she has to know who she is. Like, it's fine to be able to be doing a lot of self-development and personal growth, but from a place of knowing where you're going, and not still trying to find who they are, and having a level of awareness around what the entrepreneurial journey is about. Because I find that if I'm dating someone that isn't aware of what it takes to be an entrepreneur, then my world and their schedule don't work. And I can be seated, running by the seat of my pants, or it can be very regimented. And sometimes it's 10, 11, 12 hours a day. And I'm just working on a number of different things. And no 2 days are the same. And that's hard for some people because if they're from the career world, then everything's regimented. Everything is this, and this, and this. And there are times when the schedules are a challenge. Now, I work very hard at having 3-day weekends. And so I don't do any coaching on Fridays. And I try and clean up as much as I can so that I've got my weekends free. They have to have a strong sense of adventure. And of course, passion and intimacy are very important as well. Though that's basically the formula, and as to what I'm looking for. Of course, health and fitness are very strong key drivers. Yeah.
No, thank you for being honest with that, because, you know, I'm nodding because everything you're saying is similar to me. The one thing I would add in is that for me, especially the entrepreneurial part, because that's me too. That's how I roll, right? And it's like, sometimes I'm sitting there on my laptop when I'm writing a book, and I'm there and I have to do it. I mean, it's the drive. So I totally get that. For me, the other thing I would probably add in is children. Sometimes I find that when I date men, not always, but sometimes if they don't have children, you know, understanding that flow sometimes is the other key for me. Yeah. Okay. So let's go over here to the taboo section, because I always like to go over to that column. Okay. Okay. Let's go here to, have you ever been cheated on?
Yes. Yeah, twice.
And
but I was not in. One was a relationship that was definitely not going to be going anywhere, and if it wasn't that, then the relationship probably would have ended 30 days after that. It was a catalyst to wake me up and just, come on, let's just get going. And another was I chose to go out with the boys. I went out with the boys, and we weren't doing very well. And it was a colleague's birthday, and everyone was going to this birthday party. And I asked her to come, and she said no. And I said, well, I'm going to go. It's important for me to go. And she begged me not to go. And I went, and I had a great time. And I came home, and she wasn't there. And yeah, and so she went out to the bar, and didn't come home that night. And so that too was the beginning of the end. This going back, this is a long time ago.
So I think you said something really key there, that whether it's an affair or whether, you know, someone has cheated, when that comes up, it is really a catalyst or a clue to say something's not working here, right? We really need to look deeper into this. And, you know, when you're looking externally out of yourself or out of the relationship, those are clues that I feel are missed, right? What has been your connection, or I guess your experience with people who've been cheated on? Or, because the other question I had here was, have you ever been tempted to have an affair?
I've never cheated. I'm grateful for that. But the reason it happens is you hit the nail on the head, Velva. It is a catalyst. And it's usually because the couple is too afraid to be the bad guy or the bad woman and go, it's over, I'm done, I'm out of here. And they need to get their partner's attention, but they don't know how. And a lot of affairs are not necessarily conscious decisions. They're the universe's way of creating an explosion to say, hey, look at this. And I'll share a quick story with you. There's a couple, and let's call them Pam and Dave. And they're the ideal couple. They're just amazing. They've been married for 15 years. They've got 3 kids. Dave, he's an IT manager of a software company, very well-respected job, middle manager, makes a healthy 6 figures. And Pam, she's a wonderful lady. She works real estate part-time. She used to be full-time, but had the kids, stay at home with the kids. They belong to a country club. Now, Pam, she has her girlfriends, and they go to this country club, and they're the ladies who lunch, and they meet every 30 days. And it's quite a diverse group of women. And they all sit down and they all chat about everything under the sun, no filter. Now, the demographic is that there's a few that are married, there's a few that are single, there's a few that are having affairs, and they're very unapologetic about it. But when it comes around to Pam, oh no, me and my Dave, we're good. No, I'm not throwing my Dave under the bus. And she's just brought up that way. She just doesn't want to give anyone any insight on what's going on. Now, she loves Dave. Dave's amazing. But Dave has been in the dad bod for quite a while. Dave has been a good father for quite a while. Their sex life has not been on point. And Dave hasn't really been paying a whole lot of attention to Pam in a while. So she's ruminating on this. And as these women are talking, it says, oh, I know a guy, you should be with him or him. No way. She's just not wired for that. Fast forward, she's at the gas station filling up the van after she dropped the kids off at their sports or whatever. And 2 aisles over, this guy on a Harley rolls up. And it's just whop, 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 whop. And she looks over, and he is an absolute Adonis in leather. And and Pam, she goes to Pilates, she works out, she's doing her thing. She looks fine in a summer dress. And he looks at her and he's like, damn, girl. And she can feel that raw masculine energy. And she hasn't felt that in a long time. And she's like, whew, no, focus. But now she goes in and she's paying, and she wants the transaction to hurry up and get out of there. But she can feel him walking up. She can feel or hear the leather. He's got stirrups on his boots. And she just turns around after she pays and almost runs into him. He goes, hey, darling, damn, why don't we ride out to the desert? Just you and me. Oh, no, I'm married. No, I can't, no. And she flushes, she runs away, gets in her van, off she goes. Well, that night, Dave is trying his very best to be romantic. And yeah, he does what Dave does. But do you think she's thinking of Dave? No. Her Nevada rider is now in her head. And now, a month later goes by, she tells the ladies, she's like, well, there was this time at this gas station, I have to tell you, there's this guy, oh my God, he was amazing. And all the ladies are going, oh, Pam, if that was me, I would be like, oh, it'd be done on. And they're just teasing her, right? No way, I would never cheat on my Roy or my Dave, not a chance. Well, another 30 days goes by, she's at that gas station, and wouldn't you know it, she hears that familiar rumble off in the distance. And it's him. And for whatever reason, long story short, she gets on the back of that bike.
Yeah.
And now, remember, she's got everything, but she's not doing this consciously to hurt Dave or destroy the family.
Mm-hmm.
The reason it's happening is the feminine, the divine feminine, and for you brothers listening, these implosions in relationships happen because of the lack of the authentic masculine. And Dave, there's a void, and this authentic masculine didn't exist. And sometimes it can be completely irrational, doesn't make sense. Dave is now getting a divorce. He can't believe his wife was with this bad boy and ruined everything that they had. And it was a catalyst to just implode this, because the divine feminine needed the authentic masculine. And sometimes it will do anything and everything to find it. And this is why a lot of relationships implode, and the guy goes, I can't believe it. Do you know what that guy does? Or do you know who he is? And he's going to treat her like an asshole. Or he just doesn't make sense. There's no rationale behind it. And this is why it's really important for men to get why the authentic masculine needs to be a fire in us. And it doesn't mean you have to be an asshole, guys. This is about you just finding this mix of the nice guy that you are, and having this edge, having that fire that she's missing. What is it going to take for her to drop that divine or that masculine energy that she has to hang on to? And that's one of the key pieces, is that if you're having a sexless relationship right now, chances are the polarities have switched. So she's in her masculine and can't stand it. You're in your feminine and can't stand it. Yet you don't have a language to express the frustrating feeling that you're having, that these polarities need to go back. And the quickest way to do that is to be decisive. The quickest way to do that is to own the masculine, so she can free up her feminine. And brothers, that's your role. The entire relationship, that's your role, to help her be in her divine feminine. And there's a lot of modalities and techniques to do that. It's not something that it's just going to happen. It's just learning and having the desire to learn. And you do that, and you won't be the guy that gets cheated on. It just won't happen. And it happened to me because I did not know that I was in a feminine vibration. I did not know she was in her masculine vibration. And she needed to dump that heavy energy that she was carrying. Was it right? No, it doesn't make sense if you don't understand how these energies work. But once you do, it makes all the sense in the world.
Bingo. I mean, that was so good, Dwayne, like so good, because that is so true. Like, I look back at my marriage, same thing. It was like I was in my masculine, I wasn't in my feminine. Now I'm very much in my feminine. And, it's exactly what you're saying. We as women do want men to be decisive. We look for that bad boy edge. I do anyway. It's like, that's what I'm looking for. I need that duality. Right. And you're right. If you're having a sexless marriage, it's not going to work.
Exactly.
So, it needs to happen. Yeah. That's good. That's really good. I appreciate that. Okay. So we're almost at our time here. What is one last little tidbit that you feel a lot of men and women could use for advice?
I'll divide this into two pieces. One, ladies, please understand that if your men are trying, they're trying. They don't have the resources, the support, the network that you do. You can come together, you can talk about it, you can go online, you can find all these resources, and you're learning, you're growing. But a lot of men aren't, and they don't have the same tools or access to it. And we're also wired differently in what that looks like, because in our DNA, we want to provide, we want to preside, we want to protect. And when all those pieces are missing, because she can do it all, she can do it all. And so his sense of utility in the relationship is all but done. You know, what do you need him for? Really, what do you need a man for in today's world? And men feel that. Men know this. And right now, our pop culture is quite anti-men. And, you know, you look at anything in our pop culture, men are the comic relief. We're the doofuses. We're the imbeciles. We're the guys that the 5-year-old child is teaching. You know, it's like, wow, Dad, we don't use that product anymore. We use this product. Or that's not as good as Mom. Mom does it this way. And so that's, a lot of men are dealing with this right now. And a lot of men they don't know how to show up for you anymore. And so if he's showing even a modicum of growth in a certain way, give him that. Just give him that he's like, wow, okay. It's not all the way over here, but he's trying, because they don't have the resources that you do. It is not a level playing field right now in relationship dynamics. Men are just floundering and trying to figure this stuff out. And it's because of the way we're wired, we're supposed to already know how to figure this stuff out. And what worked 5 years ago doesn't work anymore. So we're dealing with that. And on the other side of this, it is the part 2. It's all self-responsibility. Own where you're at. Don't project it onto someone else as it's their fault. How did you play a role in creating this dynamic? You know, yes. What was it that you did? Because there's never one person fully 100% to blame. And that can be even in relationships that are not serving you. They could be abusive. And I'm going to be very raw here, is that you brought that into your world. You can cut that off. There's a learning, there's a growing, there's something going on there that you manifested a relationship of this nature. And this is incumbent upon self-responsibility, that, damn it, my values and boundaries, I'm out. And I'm getting the resources and the help. I'm going to get my tribe. I'm going to do the things I need to do. It's a self-responsibility. To project blame on someone else, it's just going to be the next person will show up just like the last person, until you recognize this and do the work.
Yep, I agree. I love the accountability piece, because it's true. If you don't do your work and you show up in the dating field, you're going to have the same formula over and over again until you figure it out. I totally agree. Yeah. Okay. So, thank you so much. We could talk another hour at least.
I know, right?
And so I may have to have you on again if you're willing, because I feel like there's a whole lot more, and I know there's going to be a lot of feedback from this video. So truly, I just want to thank you for the work that you're doing with the men, Dwayne. Like, truly, I know there's a need for it, and you are amazing at the work you do. You're professional and you're smart, and you really understand. And so thank you from, you know, a woman's perspective for doing the work that you're doing. Where can people find you? You're welcome.
The best place to find me is right here on Facebook. You can connect with me here. I've got several different pages. I've got a online coaching program, the Remarkable Man Coaching Program .thinkific.com. But here's the best place, and just reach out, shoot me a DM, and we can certainly connect. And yeah. I really honor what you're doing as well, Velva Dawn, and just really enjoyed this level of engagement. And so anytime, absolutely. Let's do this.
Yeah, we're getting a lot of feedback. Everyone's saying, you know, great, another hour, amazing, great conversation, great talk. So yeah, I think we'll have to do this again.
Indeed.
So truly.
Well, I have a new book coming out called The Conscious Manifesto, Masculinity in the Age of the Empowered Woman. And so as we get closer to that, then we can, these conversations, of course, are so organic, and they impact so many people, because relationship dynamics is something everyone is going through.
Yes.
Good, bad, or ugly. And so I'm always on board to have a great conversation with a like-minded individual such as yours.
Perfect. Perfect. Well, we will do that. So I want to just say happy St. Patrick's to everybody out there, and everybody who's watching and listening. Thank you for joining us. And thank you, Dwayne. We will be talking again soon. Thank you.
Thank you. Really appreciate it.
Bye.